Hello, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Kiyan.
This is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast where we strip. This week we watched Terminus,
Written by Steve Gallagher.
directed by Mary Ridge.
And aired in February of 1983. So yeah, we'll be progressively removing our clothing as we record, but you won't be able to see it, thank God. Unless you have nightmares for a week. Just kidding.
Yeah, in hindsight, maybe not the best intro, but you know what? Whatever. It's fitting.
Well, we're not starting over now.
It's fitting for this serial. Damn it, Nissa. Anyway.
Nissa. That's the worst part of her getting written out, not being able to hear Nissa anymore.
Spoilers. Anyway, serial begins pretty much
with Turlo trying to sabotage something.
Yeah, right where last week left off. He's standing by some roundels in the Black Guardian's like, quick, open that roundel. It's like,
he's like, what? He's like, just open it. So like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and
he opens it up and like R2-D2 noises start playing.
Yeah, it opens like it hinges downward. If you're watching at home, you can obviously tell exactly which one he's supposed to open because all the other ones look like they're built into the wall, and then there's the one that looks like it was built to be opened.
Wait, what do you mean if you're watching at home? Like, where would you be watching this? In a theater?
Maybe you're watching it on the go. Put it on your phone. Watch it on a road trip.
All right, I guess.
Maybe you're camping and you just like set up a screen.
Bring all your electronics.
I don't know why you bring this cereal if you were going camping. Anyway. Yeah.
Maybe you'd use the Garm to scare off the werewolves. I don't know. I don't know if it was the Garm or if like his name was Garm or... Yeah, I guess he can hang out with Ergon.
Well, he doesn't show up till later, because first we get Kiyan coming in like, Turlo, what are you doing?
Yeah, she's all suspicious.
Rightfully
she remains suspicious. Although, I don't know, I felt like there were a few scenes in this where like her suspicion was lessened and then maybe heightened again afterwards. I don't know. There were a lot of scenes with her and Turlo just
messing everything up and not doing anything.
Well, not really. I mean, yeah, they're not doing anything part, but they're just kind of...
They do mess everything up right at the end of episode 3.
Well, yeah, right now she's like, hey, Turlo, what are you doing? He's like, nothing. Just singing to myself. And she's like, well, you can have Adric's room. So, like, go into Adric's room. Yeah,
can't the TARDIS just make more rooms?
Yeah, I don't know why they have to use Adric's room.
Maybe it's just so they can have that scene where Turlo's like, I'm gonna rip all this down. And Tegan's like, aww.
Yeah, he had some cool stuff in there. I guess.
Yeah, like that,
mask?
Yeah. Mask.
God knows what he used that for.
That thing from, and another thing from Kinder, just chilling in his room. And some sciencey things. Meanwhile, Nissa is in the science room doing some science.
Yeah. What was that line from Italian Spider-Man? Oh, Spider-Man, I was just doing some science.
She says something like her sums aren't as good as Adric's.
Yeah, she, like, compares herself to Adric. He just won't die, will he? Keeps coming back up.
Yeah, what's that quote? It's like, as long as someone remembers your name, you don't truly die.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna remember Adric, unfortunately.
Damn it.
Adric! Nah, it's not the same. It's really not the same.
Turlo!
No, not really feeling it.
Well.
Tegan! No.
Black Guardian! I'm expecting that moment next week.
You know which one would sound pretty good? Canine! You know, that's kind of up there. Not as good.
Romana!
No,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
Patrick! No.
Patrick? No, this is Patrick.
Anyway, yeah,
Patrick. Anyway.
The doctor's like... I don't know, Tegan comes into the console room, I think, and the doctor's like, where's Nissa? And then things start blowing up, and he's like, Nissa!
Well, you forgot the part where Turlo goes into the console room first and rips some stuff out of the console.
He sabotages some stuff.
And there's like a dimensional rip, and then this door shows up in the room Nissa's in.
Yeah, and it has like a sick tat on it of like something.
At first I thought it was going to be like the Mayan Empire or something. They were going to be in like South America. But no, it's something way less interesting.
From Central America. But yeah, all right.
South of North America. South of us.
Well, I mean, Central America is not even like a real continent. I mean, just a region. So, I don't know.
Anyway. It's something way less interesting.
Yeah, it's just a spaceship. A really boring looking spaceship.
It reminded me of Underworld with how grey everything was.
Yeah, I guess this serial's comparable to Underworld in that it starts off... Well, it's not as bad as Underworld, definitely, but it starts off like pretty interesting, and then it kind of just goes downhill progressively.
Kind of just spins its wheels for 2 episodes.
Anyway, yeah, the doctor... Well, Nissa's about to be engulfed by something, like a fog of... or some kind of mist, or I don't really know what it was, but the doctor's like, well, you have to go in that door if you want to live. She's like, okay, I guess I have to then. So she does, and the doctor like follows her by throwing a chair into the door to stop it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Looked really unrealistic, the arc of that chair.
I mean, yeah, but it was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then he's like, hey, Tegan, hey, Turlo, you guys stay here, okay? And they're like, okay, and then they go into the door.
Yeah, the doctor says that when the TARDIS is breaking down, it finds a spaceship or something to latch onto to anchor itself so it doesn't break down.
Something I'm sure never comes up again.
Well, the doctor even says that it's always had that function, but it's just never worked before.
They play it off. Like, oh yeah, it's always been able to do that, but yeah, it just hasn't, so...
So the doctor goes to the door. Nissa sheds her first piece of clothing in the room before going to the door, and she bails on her, like, the top of her dress, I guess.
Yeah, so why does she keep taking off her clothes? Is there like a reason for that?
I don't know. Apparently it was controversial at the time. That she just kind of sheds clothes.
Yeah. Alright.
So, the doctor goes through the door. Nissa was holding this book, but she dropped it when she went through the door, so the doctor finds the book and he's like, oh, she went this way. So he goes that way, and he leaves the book on the floor so that he'll know when he comes back to the door. But then Tegan and Turlo come out, and they, like, pick up the book, and so that plan gets messed up anyway.
Yeah.
Then the door closes and disappears. I don't know how they got the chair out of the door.
Yeah, I don't know. That chair is the biggest mystery on this show so far. Where did you go, chair? That was bad, by the way. I want to spin off. Well, maybe not a spin off. Maybe just some audio about the chair and its undoubtedly grand adventures after this.
Yeah, it probably meets great villains like the Pteroleptals.
Maybe it meets a previous incarnation of the Doctor, and he doesn't know that he uses it
and he just sees this chair, and he's like, that's a neat chair. I'm going to put that in my TARDIS. And that's how it got there, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like a closed time loop. Bootstrap paradox. Anyway, the Doctor goes looking for Nissa.
Meanwhile, an 80s hairband shows up. We are in the 80s now, so... It's true. All they need is a couple axes, and they're good to go.
Like real axes.
Yeah, I mean, real axes would have helped in this serial.
Yeah, especially since the guns run out of power after one shot.
Well, I mean, maybe they could have used guitars. Just as bludgeoning
use
weapons.
The power. I thought you were going to say use the power of music to overcome the barriers.
That too.
Like that movie, School of Rock.
With Jack Black?
Yeah, that one. Quality movie. Well, they show up and they get on the ship, and I guess they're looking for like treasure or something. They're like pirates or
Yeah,
something.
pretty much. Although they're like toned down pirates because I think they just raid supposedly abandoned ships.
They're like the '80s toned up version of pirates.
Yeah, well, their hair is huge. That's the reason. Yeah. So
Yeah, they eventually encounter the Doctor and Nissa in like the control room because the Doctor and Nissa are trying to find out where they are, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna kill you because there's no treasure here." And they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! We just landed on this ship by accident." And
they're
then,
like, "Where are we?" And they're like, "Terminus."
yeah, the center of the known universe apparently.
Is this spaceship just sitting there?
And their ship leaves. The two
Yeah,
guy, the lady and the
them.
guy.
Yeah, their names were Olvir was the guy, and Carrie, I think, was
Yeah, I think so.
the lady.
And they're like, well, guess we're stuck with the Doctor and Nissa. So the Doctor's like, I can take you back if you ask nicely. And she's like, okay, I'll put my gun away since you seem to be trustworthy. And,
Olvir, like, runs away or something.
well, yeah, because they run into the lepers.
Oh, yeah,
Well, they're not called the lepers, they're called, like,
Lazars
the
are set free.
It's a plague ship.
Yeah. And Tegan and Turlo are like, oh no! And then they find this ventilation shaft thing that runs under the floor.
Well, there was a subplot where Tegan heard a voice coming through the door, and she's like, it's Nissa! We gotta save her, Turlo! And you listen to it, and it sounds nothing like Nissa at all.
It's just, well, that's not really a subplot. It's more just like a thing that happened. I don't know.
Well, it's a subplot because it leads them into the ventilation shaft, which leads to them messing up everything in episode 3.
I don't consider it a subplot, but whatever. It doesn't matter. But
it's
yeah, they
the
had
D plot of the series.
It's I don't know what it is. Yeah, they go into the ventilation shafts, and like that's when episode 1 ends. I don't know. I was kind of like edge of my seat at the end of 1 because I was like, who are those people? What if they touch Tegan and Turlo? Will they die? And they were like right about to come through when they headed down into the shaft. So that was like probably the most exciting part of the serial.
Hey, it was pretty exciting when
Garm showed up.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, a werewolf. But then, I don't know, Garm was kind of underwhelming. He got his time in the sun, to bring that phrase back, in episode 4, I guess. He was kind of like the genie from
yeah,
Aladdin.
that's actually exactly what I was thinking, because my mom's putting on a performance of Aladdin right now. We had a performance yesterday, actually, right between me watching parts 3 and 4 of the serial.
You guys should change the ending so that Aladdin doesn't free the genie and he just wishes to be Sultan.
In the version we're doing, Aladdin doesn't even wish for the genie to be free. He just goes, poof, you're free, and it works for some reason.
So what does he use his last wish on? Fame and fortune? Marrying Jasmine?
I don't know. He says, poof, you're free.
Tricking out the carpet? Pimp my carpet?
And the genie's just like, guess I'm free now.
Yeah, doesn't he go on a vacation to somewhere?
Yeah, in the movie he goes on a vacation to like the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And then they don't get Robin Williams to voice Aladdin in any of the next like 4 sequels. They Genie in the next like 4
that would
sequels.
Be weird.
Yeah,
well, no wonder.
One of the sequels to Aladdin, Jafar comes back, unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
Should watch that for triple play if they made a 3rd one.
I think they did. Pretty sure they did.
Pretty sure it would end up stabbing her eyes out, so probably awful.
Probably.
Back to the serial at hand. They go to the control room because they can't find the TARDIS, so the doctor's like, well, we'll see if we can like contact someone and get some help. And this is like, I'm just gonna go see if I can find, what's his name?
Olvir.
I almost called him Olivia.
And what's her name? Carrie is like, I'll have to kill Olvir now, or well, maybe she doesn't want to kill him, but she's pretty pissed that he ran off. So the doctor like sequences some data or something with like colored blocks. It's pretty
it performs
interesting.
block transfer computation. And Nissa finds Olvir and is like, come back, Olvir. And it's like, no, Carrie's gonna kill me.
And she's like, yeah, probably.
But we'll convince her not to if you just come back.
Well, then the Doctor and Carrie head out to find Nissa and Olvir, I think, or just to find out more about Terminus.
And then we get the worst capture sequence in Doctor Who ever because of
What?
like R2D2 style bot comes in.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that thing.
And it's like, all Lazarus must leave the ship.
Wait a minute. What was the throwback in this?
That's the Black Guardian, I guess.
Okay, it's the Black Guardian.
Yeah, I guess. Kind of a cop-out, but...
Yeah. Because the thing is, when that thing first showed up, I thought it might be related to the Daleks somehow, because it almost looked like sort of a poor man's Dalek. But no, I guess there just wasn't really a reference in this.
So the bot wheels over to Nissa really slowly, and Nissa's like, no! Olvir, help! And then it just grabs Nissa's arm. But the shot is like, Nissa's holding her arm there, and it just moves in and grabs her arm really slowly.
But then as it's dragging her away, did you notice this? It just sort of moves really slowly, and she kind of just follows it.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like she could have just stood there, and it wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
And Sarah Sutton is yelling really poorly, like, Olvir, help me, Olvir.
Oh man, something similar happens later when Olvir is fighting with what's his name, and then he what's his name takes Nissa away.
Garm.
Garm, and Olvir just turns around and he's like, Nissa, where are you? And she's like 3 feet to his left. Yeah, so really not the best performance or the best staging here, I guess.
Which is surprising because Sarah Sutton usually turns in pretty good performances.
She's just like, it's my last 20 minutes on the show, just whatever.
Just phoning it in for a final serial. Anyway, Tegan and Turlo
are crawling through the ventilation shaft, and the Black Guardian is like, hey, Turlo, gotta kill the Doctor.
And Turlo's like, I know.
He supposedly has a plan that requires getting back to the TARDIS.
Yeah, I think his plan consists entirely of bail in the TARDIS and the Doctor will get trapped.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because he does that later, and the Black Guardian's like, no, I don't accept this. You gotta go kill him.
This isn't a valid solution.
What are you doing, Turlo?
You're a failure on every level, Turlo.
Anyway, now we cut to the crew, who wear these cool...
radiation suits.
Yeah, they sort of look like golden muscle suits. Well, I mean, they look really sinewy, I guess, and the masks look monkey-esque.
I thought you meant monk-y, as in like a monk, but you mean monkey as in the animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're having an argument because they apparently need a certain chemical to survive the radiation on the ship, but the company, the ominous company that I think is called Terminus,
The man,
also...
no.
You gotta stick it to the man. Sent them a reduced supply this time around, and they're like, we're all gonna die. We're done for. We're doomed.
Yeah, especially since the Lazars are roaming free now, I guess.
Well, they locked them all up except for Nissa, who now gets taken to them.
Yeah, she's actually, I think, touched by one of the Lazars.
Yeah, she's the only one in the serial who catches the disease on screen.
Yeah, I think you have to get touched by one of them. And she, like, brushed one of them. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Doctor and Carrie didn't get touched by one, considering they were standing right in the horde.
Yeah. Maybe it only affects Trocanians. Trocanese, whatever they're called.
Trocanese. Maybe. I doubt it. Trocan probably doesn't even exist at this point anymore. I'm pretty sure it got wiped out by the monster in 1982.
Yeah, and this is in 3480. I guess, which the
3840.
3840, something like that. The wiki
No,
doesn't have
3480. 3480.
Yeah, the wiki doesn't have a page for that year, surprisingly.
But it does have a page for grapes.
Yeah, and like conjecture or something.
Anyway.
And Star Wars.
Hey man,
a
Star
lot
Wars
of other
probably
stuff.
exists in this universe.
Yeah, the Doctor sees it in some expanded universe thing.
There's that weird bit of a tangent. There's a short story in one of the magazines where the third Doctor goes to the cinema and watches Doctor Who and the Daleks, the Peter Cushing movie. So Nyssa gets captured and thrown in with all the other lads, and she's like, "Please help me, I'm not sick." And they're like, "You're
like-
identified as sick by our bot."
And she has like a conversation with one of the Lazars, and they're like, "We're all gonna die."
They don't cure us, they just kill us. I guess
Yeah.
they're just trying to eradicate the disease.
Yeah, I guess.
Meanwhile, on the ship, the other ship, the plague ship, stage 2 cleansing is beginning. So
Wasn't there only one ship?
No, there was 2. There was the plague ship and the other ship.
What was the other ship?
The Terminus base ship.
I thought they were all on the same ship.
No, the plague ship was a separate ship. Because there's a shot after Carrie's ship leaves, where you see the plague ship dock with another ship, and that's the
I don't
Terminus ship
All right, I don't
slash
remember
base
that.
slash asteroid thing.
Asteroid just collides with an
I
asteroid.
don't know.
That would solve all their problems, because they'd all be dead. But yeah,
So the Doctor's like, well, it's either coincidence or not that Terminus is right at the center of the known universe.
yeah, it's probably just a coincidence, right?
Yeah, sure. But stage 2 cleansing has begun, so the Doctor and Carrie bail on...
They carry themselves out of there.
Carrie should have been the new companion.
Why?
Replace Nyssa. Just so we can get that 80s hairdo every week.
I wasn't a big Carrie fan. I thought for a minute that Nyssa was gonna get married off
Yeah,
to
so did
Olvir.
I. So did I. I was like, great. Another marriage right up. But she didn't, so that's good.
Yeah, she got written out kind of similarly to Romana.
Yeah, well, we'll touch...
2,
We'll,
not 1.
yeah, she regenerates. We'll talk about that when we get there. But Tegan and Turlo are like, oh shoot, stage 2 cleansing. And then somehow they find a way out of the vent. I think it kind of just happens off screen and they just don't show it.
I don't know.
But Turlo contacts Black Guardian and the Guardian's like, kill the Doctor. And Turlo's like, I need to get back to the TARDIS. And the Guardian's like, just go find a bypass switch or something. And Turlo's like, okay.
So yeah, eventually he and Tegan get separated.
But they rejoin. Then they have a heart-to-heart where Turlo's like, if you had to kill someone, could you do it, Tegan? And she's like, no! Unless it was in self-defense.
Well, she says like maybe if my life was at stake, or if the Doctor's or Nissa's life was at stake, but not you, Turlo. No, she doesn't say that.
And Turlo's like, okay, what about in cold blood? And she's like, no!
All right. What about in cold blood, though? You know, would you be okay with that?
What about in warm blood?
Ugh. Sticky, disgusting pool of warm blood.
Oh, blood's just disgusting in general. Yeah.
Well, it's inside you right now.
Did you know inside all of us we have a spooky, scary skeleton?
What's that from?
Yeah.
Isn't that a quote from something?
Probably. Probably some
Actually, that's from no. It's
meme.
from Hamlet. At the end, when he's in the graveyard and he's like, "We're all just skeletons inside." He doesn't really say it like that though.
He
But I
doesn't.
wish he did.
Shakespeare for the modern age.
Yeah, it's condensed into a vine, which is good because it really just goes on for way too long.
Kind of like the cereal.
Kind of like this episode of Us, of Trust Your Doctor.
Oh, that's every episode.
Aladdin, though, it definitely required the 4 minutes we spend on it. No, just kidding.
Hey, we gotta make it interesting when this serial didn't give us a lot to work with here.
When does the Garm show up? I don't even remember
It's like deep into episode 3.
I don't even remember how he appears. I just remember, like, noticing a werewolf on screen.
I don't remember how episode 2 ends.
Me neither. I think it actually ends, or maybe not ends, but pretty soon, the workers have, like, this bet or something.
Oh, yeah, because I see the Doctor and Carrie on the ship, and the one guy's like, if I bring them back, will you cede your command to me? And the guy's like, yes.
Sure. But then what's weird is that after the guy leaves, the guy in command is asked by one of the other guys, he's like, are you really going to do it? And he like sarcastically says like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But
yeah, he doesn't think the guy's going to come back because he has to go into the Forbidden Zone.
Which is like a super radiated part of the ship or something. And like no one's ever made it out of there alive. But then one of the other guys goes in, and he seems to be just fine. But yeah, Boar. I made a note of it because I was like, that's what this serial's doing to me.
Yeah, but Boar was awesome.
Yeah, he's probably scarred for life.
Boar's probably going to die.
And figuratively. Yeah, but I mean, for the rest of his life, he's going to have that disfiguration for the rest of his short life.
Boar seemed like a really reasonable guy. Because he was trying to save everybody by stopping the explosion of the ship, however misguided he was in his radiation-fried brain.
What was the guy's name who went off?
I don't know, but it wasn't Boar.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't
so
Boar.
It's not important.
Yeah, they actually did the season 1 thing here where they all kind of look the same-ish.
Yeah, they all had long hair with similar facial structures, except Boar had a mustache.
Yeah, well, Boar was the easiest to tell apart.
Well, he actually had a scarred right face. He was like Two-Face. The real origin of Two-Face. So the Doctor and Carrie are like, what's going to happen, Boy? What's going to happen? And Boy's like, that engine's going to blow up and we're all going to die. And the Doctor's like, oh, shoot.
Oh, no. So they get into, like, a control room to find out how to stop it and also, well, yeah, just how to stop it.
Yeah, this is, like, at the end of episode 3, actually. Nothing really happens in episode 3, to be honest.
Yeah, there's some fight scenes, actually, but I don't even really remember the context in which they take place.
Everyone just kind of battles everybody.
Yeah, they kind of just run into each other on the ship because they're all running around and they're like, fight me.
Fight me IRL, bro. Yeah, the guy who runs off, I feel like we should actually get his name.
Yeah, probably. You can go down to the cast list.
Eric Valgord.
Oh, I think it was
Iraq.
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 How did I get out of... Okay, I'm not going to tell that joke. Do you know the joke that I was about to say?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay. Mainly not going to say it because it involves mispronunciation of both of those countries, but anyway.
So they also, to raise the stakes a bit, they spew some nonsense about how Terminus used to be able to travel in time.
Yeah, this was kind of cool. I kind of liked this, but at the same time, I was like, that's kind of dumb.
Well, okay, so it made sense. Well, it was like, it used to travel in time, so the first explosion was the Big Bang, and it created the universe. And then, But then they were like, but if it explodes now, it'll wipe out the entire universe. And I was like, how does that work? The universe is like really freaking big now.
Yeah, but it's gonna wipe it all out.
What?
Yep.
So you just roll with it for the rest of this serial. The Doctor's like, the universe is going to blow up. We got to save the universe.
Well, what I thought was kind of cool was, like, the lasers and everyone existed before the Big Bang, right? And they, like, time traveled to 3480 as part of the explosion. Didn't they say something like that?
Well, they said that the explosion meant the Terminus couldn't travel in time anymore.
Well, it, like, jumped forward in time.
I think what he said was when the explosion took off, it messed with the time circuit, so it traveled to the beginning of the universe when the explosion went off, and that's what created the universe.
I thought it started at the beginning and like jumped forward to like right now. Pretty sure that's what it was.
I'm pretty sure they said it jumped back and created the universe. How would it exist before the universe?
I don't know, maybe just like in a mini universe. Where everything was a lot smaller. I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool. I'm just going to go with what I thought, even if it's not right. And I don't know if it is or not, but I'm just going to go with it because
it's also not cooler. The only explanation for the creation of the universe the show has given us. Because in Castrovalva, they're like, a massive hydrogen influx created the universe.
Yeah, well, we got multiple explanations for a bunch of stuff, so... Oh well.
Anyway.
I really don't mind.
They, the Garm the Garm gets introduced really unceremoniously in, like, episode 3. He just shows up to carry some lasers away. I think it's revealed that the company worker dudes have a control box for the Garm.
Yeah.
But I must have missed that because I didn't get that until the Doctor destroyed it.
Yeah, well, it's not really that big of a deal.
I'm also not. I don't remember how the Doctor.
Free the Garm.
The Doctor comes into control of it. I guess he just steals it. I don't remember when that happens, though.
I kind of don't remember most of this. Well, Garm is like a real word, right? It's like a real term for. I don't know.
Maybe you're thinking of garment.
No,
because he was wearing garments. He was wearing garments.
I mean garments.
Garments?
With an N. It has an N in it.
Garments doesn't.
Well, what do you...
Like clothes, garments.
Yeah, garment.
No, I don't think it has an N.
It's a garment.
I'm going to go with what I believe.
Whether it's right or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I think Garm is like some real world creature. I mean, not like real world creature, but like some mythological thing. I don't know. I truly don't know.
Nor do you care.
I kind of care. Like, I care more than other stuff that I didn't know about this serial. Like where the Doctor got the control box, or whether the ship time traveled or not, or whether Garments has an N in it or not. Which it does.
If you say so.
But
you're the English major, so I guess I should defer to you.
Yeah, well, all right.
They call up Garm to come flip a switch because
the switch is too heavy or something.
Tegan and Turlo mess with some wires and it causes the explosion to start.
Yeah, well, actually, Turlo has made his way back to the TARDIS. And he's like, hey, Black Guardian, I'm just going to leave the Doctor for dead. I'm just going to take the TARDIS because he won't be able to go anywhere and he'll just die. So that's good enough, right? And the Black Guardian's like, no! But I mean, I guess probably if Turlo had taken the TARDIS, the Doctor really would have died there.
No, because the Doctor stopped the explosion.
Yeah, but I mean, he wouldn't be able to, like, travel anywhere. He would have just kind of died there.
He could have left, like, on the next ship and gone and lived out a life on, like, a planet somewhere.
And I guess, but, like, that probably, I don't know.
He still has, like, 7 more regenerations. Like, within those, he would find the TARDIS again and probably kill Turlo.
I don't think he would kill Turlo. But, I mean, I don't know.
He would dump Turlo on some random planet in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know, like, what are the chances of him finding the TARDIS again? Probably, like, not that high.
Pretty high.
Pretty high, just living on some random planet.
The TARDIS goes, like, everywhere.
Yeah, but Turlo could have just taken it somewhere and dropped it off.
Yeah, Turlo would have gone to his home planet, so the Doctor would have been like, okay, I will just find Turlo's home planet. I'll go there, then I'll just get a time machine, go back in time to when Turlo landed, and take the TARDIS back. Yeah, easy.
Getting off of the planet that he's, like, stuck on now.
It'd be easy. Nissa's gonna do it.
Yeah, well, Nissa's not trying to find whatever. It's just a very large and confusing hypothetical situation.
The Doctor spent, like, 4 years in exile on Earth without his TARDIS. I think he can figure out a way to find the TARDIS.
He had the TARDIS. It just couldn't use it.
Yeah, and look how many times he ran into the Master of the Monk when he was stranded on Earth.
Yeah, well, that's because of the
and contrived other ways to get off the planet.
That's because Earth was advancing in technology, and more alien species were visiting it. If you remember the explanation they gave in, like, Robot.
All I'm saying is it would have been pretty easy.
No, I don't think it would have been that easy.
I think it would have been that easy.
No, I doubt it.
Where would Turlo... Turlo doesn't even know how to pilot the TARDIS.
Maybe he would have gone back to Earth.
Yeah, then it would have been really easy for the Doctor to find the TARDIS. All he'd have to do is go back to Earth.
But I mean, like, how would he get there?
He could also just go to Gallifrey and get a new TARDIS.
I don't know. I don't think they would really just give him one, but hey.
He could steal one again.
Anyway, what was even happening? Oh yeah, the Black Guardian tells Turlo to go back, so I guess he does.
No, he doesn't. He gets zapped by the Black Guardian. He passes out for the rest of episode 4.
Oh, all right, I don't remember that either, but
yeah,
okay.
He screams in pain and passes out, and we don't see him again until Tegan enters the TARDIS like, Turlo, what are you doing?
I don't remember that.
Well, it's what happens.
Okay. If you say so.
The Doctor calls Garm over to flip the switch because it's like jammed or something.
Well, I think it's like too heavy and only the Garm can move it, except the guy who's playing the Garm is like doing a really bad job of acting.
Garm
really heavy.
also shows...
the costume looks pretty bad, by the way, we didn't mention.
Olvir, where Nyssa is, because Nyssa was taken to be cured. Also, Olvir like fought
Iraq, whatever his name is.
Iraq, whatever the heck his name was.
And that's when Nissa's getting taken off to the side, and he just won't turn his head 3 inches to the left.
Yeah, because he also fights the Garm. And loses. But anyway, yeah. Garm shows him where Nyssa is, and then he busts into the room and Nyssa trips him. She's like, oops, sorry. And then she's like, the cure works. We just need to control it. And Olvia's like, we gotta leave Nyssa. And Nyssa's like, no, we gotta help them with the cure. And then at that point, you're like, okay, she's not coming back.
I didn't think that... I didn't really know for sure. I was like, she might leave.
I think she was gonna leave. Because she was way more into it than she usually is for anything ever.
She's taken off more of her clothes at this point.
Yeah, she took off her like skirt bit. Not that that's important.
I think it's important. It's the most important part of this serial now.
What, so you can see more of her legs?
No. Yeah, maybe. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, the Doctor and Carrie save the day. They
just, I don't know, everything just works out in the end.
They flip the switch and it works. They meet up with Iraq and they're like, we can release you from the company. Nyssa can totally synthesize that chemical you're working with.
First he's reluctant, but then he's like, okay, I guess that's better than just sticking with it. So they do that. They convince Leader Dude.
Well, they don't really convince Leader Dude. He just shows up and is like, you promised to give your position to me. And he's like, dang it.
Darn.
So then they do that, and then it cuts to
Tegan walks up and he's like, Doctor! Nyssa! Tegan!
No, what actually happens is Tegan shows up on the doctor's like, Tegan, what are you doing? I told you to stay in the TARDIS. And she's like, what? And Nyssa's like, say you're happy to see her, Doctor. And he's like, well, I am, but I told her to stay in the TARDIS. And then Nyssa's like, Tegan, I need to talk to you.
So they talk, like, in the
Off
background. I wonder what they were saying.
Screw that Doctor, I don't want any
When's
more of
lunch?
his nonsense.
No, I mean, like, what they're actually saying. They're probably reading, well, maybe they were reading lines, but I just imagine them being like, oh, when's lunch? Or something like that.
They're probably saying rhubarb, rhubarb, rhubarb.
What? What's that from?
If, it's like an acting thing. If you need to convincingly look like you're saying something, you just say rhubarb over and over again.
Why?
Because
it looks like real words?
Yeah.
Just say it.
Rhubarb, 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 rhubarb. Watermelon. You throw some watermelons in there too, because there's a different facial shape. Rhubarb.
Well, isn't there like a word that has every letter in it or something?
I mean, probably.
Can you just say that?
You could also just say, when's lunch? Anyway, Tegan's like, Doctor, talk to Nyssa. And Nyssa's like, I'm staying here, Doctor. And the Doctor's like, what? No! And then,
yeah, I think this is one of the few times where the Doctor's like, nah, you can't stay. And she's like, nah, I can. And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess you can.
Well, she's like, I want to stay and help all these people. I want to put into practice everything I learned on the TARDIS. And he's like, well, that's fair. You're a braver woman than I am.
Feels more genuine than when Romana said almost the same thing.
She gives the Doctor a kiss on the cheek. She hugs Tegan, and then we hear the
Nyssa,
we hear the Doctor and
time,
Tegan
no,
walking into the TARDIS, and they go, Turlo! And then it ends. Because
They go,
Turlo's like,
Turlo, where are you?
Turlo's like lying on the floor of the TARDIS, and he's like, "What did you do to me?" And the Guardian's like, "This is your last chance,
Oh, yeah, it
Turlo.
ends with the Black
I
Guardian.
won't say this again, Turlo. You represent a poor investment on my part."
Probably gonna say it again next week. Or something similar to it.
They're gonna like wipe out the Black Guardian next week or some nonsense. Or Turlo will finally reveal to the Doctor he's been working for the Black Guardian all the time, and the Doctor's gonna be like, get out of my TARDIS.
No, I think they're gonna team up and defeat the Black Guardian. Or so. What if next week's throwback is just the Black Guardian too? That would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this serial,
Bill's A.
yeah, I mean, I liked episode 1. I thought it felt kind of mysterious. We got the Olvir and Carrie, who were like just outrageously designed, so they were kind of fun. And I kind of just spiraled down from there, like
The
really
sets?
drab sets, and like I don't know,
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
sets
really,
were terrible.
I didn't really care for the company dudes too much because like I don't know, they weren't that interesting.
Yeah, they
Neither
tried
in-
to they tried to make Iraq interesting by like he's talking to Olvir and he's like, "You were trained under the same man I was trained under because I recognize your fighting style," but that never comes into play again.
Like I mean, except for all the fight scenes, which I mean, as expected, weren't really that great because they weren't really that well choreographed. So there were a few interesting things. Oh, we forgot to mention the Doctor frees the Garm by destroying the Garm control panel.
Oh yeah, that was the Aladdin reference we were referring to.
Yeah, so that happens. I mean, the Garm was kind of interesting, kind of cool. I liked the Garm. I liked the Big Bang stuff a bit.
Free me. Yeah, I don't know.
Other than that, it kind of just felt pretty
The only
drab.
thing I really liked about the serial was the setup in Nissa's Rideout, which was better than most.
Well,
Really,
I mean, I think you
anything?
just liked it because you can get married off.
Yeah, really, anything better than getting married off. Anything that's not getting married off is better than getting married off.
I mean, they're moving more towards, they're not getting married off anymore.
Yeah, thank God for that. Because it always feels like such a cop out.
Yeah, it does. Especially with Leela.
Never gonna let that go. But I like.
Yeah, I didn't care that much for the write out. I was just like, all right, I guess it makes sense for Nyssa.
Yeah, well, I like that they're showing that the companions, like, find a purpose through the Doctor. Like, on Trock and Nyssa was just a kid whose parents got killed by the Master, and then now she's like, I want to help people solve this disease.
All right, if you say so. Well, I think a lot of the companion write outs are starting to fit the companion more.
Yeah,
Because, like, this makes sense for Nyssa's character. Adrix kind of made sense for his character.
kind of.
He had to know if he was right, but in the end, he never figured it out.
No, because he died. He got vaporized, probably. The ship hit the planet, probably vaporized all his molecules.
Yeah, the real tragedy here is that we're not going to be able to hear Nyssa anymore.
I mean, you
That's
can always
the
listen
worst
to the
part
audio
about this.
dramas.
But I wonder if they even say it in those.
Well, apparently Nyssa was Peter Davison's favorite companion of his. Just a fun fact.
All right,
So-
yeah, she's up there.
So when Sarah Sutton finally decided to do audio dramas, they gave the Fifth Doctor and Nyssa a bunch of adventures together between Tegan leaving and Tegan rejoining.
All right, pretty cool. Well, actually, it's interesting that a couple weeks ago, we read that like Sarah Sutton had requested a more mature portrayal of Nyssa, and like they kind of just went the opposite way
Until the end?
until her end.
I guess. Yeah, she kind of just got captured in this serial. She got cured, and she's like, I want to help these people. Which is admirable, but at the same time, she didn't really do anything else besides
Strip.
that. Yeah, she stripped. Great. I don't know. I'm gonna miss Nyssa, especially
Yeah.
now that we have Tegan and Turlo, who work okay together, but I want to see how they work together without the Black Guardian influencing Turlo every time he's on screen alone.
Well, Turlo is shaping up to be pretty interesting himself.
Yeah, he's gonna have an interesting character arc next week when we find out if he betrays the Doctor to the Black Guardian or if he betrays the Black Guardian to the Doctor. Because they were pretty obviously trying to make it out in the serial, like he was conflicted. I mean, when he was asking Tegan if she could kill someone,
Yeah.
he was like, he didn't know if he could go through with
he
it.
doesn't want to do it, but that much is obvious.
And there's a moment when he's going back to the TARDIS and he gets to the door and he kind of stops and looks around, I guess, because he's reconsidering leaving Tegan behind. He goes in anyway.
I don't know, I think he and Tegan are forming some semblance of a friendship there.
Yeah.
He still doesn't trust him, but...
I think he's going to sell the Black Guardian out, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that really seems like where it's going.
Although it would be interesting if he sells the Doctor out to the Black Guardian and the Doctor just kicks him off the TARDIS and we never see him again.
Well, we'll have to see.
We shall see. Email
My
us.
Guardian could have gotten a lot more competent guys than Turlo.
Well, he probably went for Tolo because Tolo wasn't supposed to be on Earth. Because I mean, it's pretty much confirmed at this point that he's not from Earth.
Well, I mean, it was confirmed already. He should have gotten Turlo's friend there who drove the car.
His friend didn't even drive the car at the beginning of that serial.
I don't know what he did, but
his friend was like the most rule-abiding person ever. He wouldn't have killed the Doctor. Honestly, the Black Guardian should have just gotten like one of those military men in this serial to do it, because they would have just shot him on the spot if the Black Guardian had asked.
He should have he should have told one of the Lazars that he would cure them if they killed the Doctor. That would be pretty dark.
And then he just doesn't?
Yeah.
Wow. A bit dark for a kid's show there. Anyway.
He's still wearing the crow hood, by the way.
Yeah.
Looks really uncomfortable.
Do you think they filmed all the Black Guardian scenes for all three of these serials at once? They just sat him in front of like a green screen like, okay, we're recording all of your scenes at once.
Probably not.
You think they did it by the week?
Yeah, I would guess.
See, the only reason why I'd figure they'd do it all in 1 week is so that way they only have to pay the actor for 1 week.
Well.
Anyway, email us at thedoctor@decorative.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, love letters, thoughts on the Black Guardian's crow hood. I think we used that same thing last week, but whatever. Find us on YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play, all at Trust Your Doctor. I just realized that if we had looked close enough at our banner on the website, we would have actually spoiled that Turlo comes onto the TARDIS at some point, because the image in the F of the 5 is a picture of Tegan and Turlo leaning out of the TARDIS.
Well, I mean, it's not... I don't really exactly consider it a spoiler that he joins at some point, just looking at that image.
I mean, when we had started Modern Undead...
Yeah, for those... that hour and a half where we wouldn't have known. Yeah,
exactly.
Big deal.
Exactly. Big deal. It is a big deal. And, yeah, the website is decorativevegetable.com.
Yep. Also check us out on Facebook, Trust Your Doctor. Like us on Facebook, and also check us out on Twitter at TYD Podcast, and follow us on Twitter. And next week we watch,
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Yeah, they're getting really uncreative with these names here. But, until then, the end.